Right guys, welcome back to another video, and today let's talk about some basketball. Right, so today basically what I wanted to talk about was the MVP race and basically everything around that. But basically, what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be going through about 10 names of the possible winners of the MVP race, which I could see happening. It's a bit hard for some of them, in my personal opinion, but I think that they could get there, and I'm going to give reasons why. I'm going to give my top 3 who I think is most likely to get it and who is going to be in that conversation in my personal opinion. Now, all of this is opinion and speculation. As I say, I'm not saying it's fact. I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen, but let's get into the video. So the first name I want to talk about is LeBron James. Realistically, you can never count out LeBron James in any factor when it comes to basketball or anything really, to be honest. This man is one of the, well, in my opinion, the second best basketball player of all time. Even though he's like 38 now, I still can't count him out of being one of the best players in the NBA. He could just do that. The issue with LeBron James's case would be mainly the team around him. The amount of guards that Lakers team has is actually incredible, to be honest, how many guards they have. Where it's likely that Russell Westbrook, Dennis Schroeder, Patrick Beverley is going to be a bit of a clash, and I just don't see them performing very well. I see them maybe getting the play-in again, but they're not doing especially well. That's the main reason for me. LeBron can obviously be LeBron James and average all the points he wants, but if you're a play-in team, your chances of getting that MVP, it's not looking great for you. Next, I'm going to go Steph. Now, I'm not really doing this in any particular order. I am going from least likely to most likely. Now, the crazy thing is, saying Steph and LeBron James are at the lower tier of winning the MVP next season is kind of like a bit insane. But hear me out. Steph is obviously one of the greatest players of all time, top 10 undoubtedly now, in my opinion. But the only thing is, as players like that age, is he going to do what he did in the finals for a whole season? We saw him have probably his worst regular season in quite a long time last season, but still got finals MVP. So a lot of players tend to do this where they will slow down for the regular season and just slowly ramp up, and I feel as if Steph just isn't going to have the production that other players might have, especially when for the last couple of years, I think the last 4 years at least, it's all been like big men, i.e. Jokic and Giannis. Really, that's where a lot of the points are coming from in the modern NBA, is those big men that can play like guards, like Giannis and Jokic pretty much do. I just don't think Steph is going to have that desire to win a regular season MVP because of the amount of pressure it will put on his body when he really only needs to turn up for the playoffs, which you know they're going to get no matter what anyway, so I don't think that's really a concern. Moving on to Kawhi, a similar thing with Kawhi is just his age and how he doesn't play that many regular season games, but obviously with people saying the Clippers are going to be such an amazing team, it's just whether he can stay fit and play the amount of games necessary, which in my opinion, I just don't think he will. So I think those 3 players, due to age and due to fitness concerns, I just don't think those 3 players are really going to be in the conversation. But obviously, being as their legendary status, I'm going to have to put them in that situation. Other shout-outs could be for James Harden maybe to make a return. I don't see it happening, him getting back to any sort of level. He's just lost that killer step that he had that would just absolutely destroy people. Now, moving on to the more likely ones, you've got Ja Morant. Now, Ja Morant is there's about 6 or 7 players that I think are in real contention. I think Ja is obviously to the lower end. Well, not obviously, but in my opinion, he's towards the lower end. I saw some people saying he's like top 5 chance to win it. I don't think he's there yet, especially in my personal opinion. I think the Grizzlies are going to have a year that is worse than last year as well. So I just think in total that with the Grizzlies not having a good as year as last season, and Ja wasn't really in that much contention for the MVP last season. Some people were saying it, mostly Grizzly fans, I'd assume, but he wasn't in that much contention last year, and in my opinion, I feel like the team's going to be worse this year due to them just running out of the adrenaline which they've had for the last couple of years. But that's my opinion, and if the Grizzlies play as well as they did last season, getting the 2nd seed, I really feel like Ja does have a chance, and that's why he's on this list for me. Next, I've put Embiid. Embiid, it's not really a tier list. I haven't gone like 1 to 10, this is why, but like Embiid for me, coming second in the last 2 years. The Sixers are going to be really good, but I just feel like there's going to be better teams than them. In my opinion, the Sixers are going to be pretty much where they finished last season, and they were quite an underrated team last season. They actually got the same amount of wins as the Celtics, who came second. They came fourth. which is a bit of a shame. But the Sixers are going to be great. I can't really explain myself why I put Embiid there. In my opinion, I don't really think Embiid is, like, obviously he's amazing, but I don't think he's like top level. So sadly, he's just below players that, in my opinion, are going to be better than him next season because of the teams they're on. Or not even the teams they're on, just better skill-wise. For example, the next one, Luka. I just think that Luka is obviously one of the best players, and him and Zion, I'll say next, is they're kind of on that tier as well. Zion and Luka, obviously Zion is going to have like a redemption year in my opinion, where he's actually going to play a decent amount of games like he did in his second season. Hopefully anyway, for his sake. And I just think the Pelicans are actually going to surprise a lot of people with how good they actually are. So that's the main reason why he's there. Luka, the reason why he's not higher, and in my opinion, he is like the second best player, like talent-wise in the league. It goes like Giannis, Luka, just below him. But the reason why is the team success, and I just feel as if Dallas aren't going to have that same team success that they've had in previous seasons. So it could be that Embiid goes above Luka or something. I'm not really doing it in order, like I said. But it could be that. Zion is going to have a great season as long as he stays fit. You can't really put him... Like, Zion could easily win MVP if he stays fit, played every single game, and did what he does consistently when he does play in the league. Like, he could easily win it. I just don't see him being fit. Now, we've got the top three. Now, these are on, like, a separate tier of their own, which is, like, slightly above. Like, obviously, Luka would be on that if I knew that he was, like, going to have a good team around him. I don't know what Dallas is really going to look like next season. Same kind of thing for Zion. If I knew that he was going to be fit the whole season, he might be there. Like, same thing maybe for Embiid, if you know what type of James Harden you're going to get, or what the team around him is going to actually look like, and how successful they will be. They could be on this tier as well, but me personally, I just don't see it. Jokic and Jason Tatum are next for me. For example, Jokic is going to have a better season than last season, in my opinion. But voter fatigue plays a part in this situation, right? I think the Nuggets are actually going to be better, and they are actually going to be a top seed. Not the top seed, but they're going to be a higher seed than they were the past couple of years. With like injury-free players and stuff like that. Can they keep fit? That is an issue. But Jokic has seemed to win the award 2 years on the bounce when his team hasn't been especially fit. So that's one of the main reasons why you always have to put Jokic there. I just think maybe voter fatigue will come into it. Next, Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum, he's a Celtics guy. Like, he's gonna perform. Like, you know, Jason Tatum's gonna bounce back from that finals loss, and in my opinion, as a Celtics fan, it's kind of a hope thing as well that Jason Tatum will be there. He is one of the greatest players in the NBA right now. He does usually have a slow start to the season, but if he doesn't have that slow start to the season and just ramps up straight away and plays as well as he can, the Robert Williams III injury might be an issue that concerns people, because that might make the Celtics start slower. But if they can play consistently how they play in the second half of the season, I have no doubt that Jason Tatum could be in contention, that first or second place for finals for the MVP. Now, everyone knows what's coming. Giannis, number one. Giannis, in my opinion, is absolutely, somehow underrated, from the last 2 seasons. In my opinion, it was just voter fatigue from giving it him 2 seasons in a row. They just decided we can't give it him again. In my opinion, Giannis is always going to be the best player in the league right now, and he's just that for me. I'm not sure who's better than him. Maybe you can make the case Jokic is, Luka maybe in a few years. But in my opinion, Giannis right now should win the award if he wants to, obviously. And that is dependent on Milwaukee having a fit team and ready to go. But in my opinion, I just think Milwaukee are going to probably be the second seed or something like that. So I just feel like Giannis is going to want that redemption from that postseason that happened last season. So that is my kind of final MVP kind of prediction. Obviously injuries could change this, team performance could change this, but in my opinion the top 3 are Jokic, Jason Tatum and Giannis. Obviously Luka, people will say should go in there, and Embiid should go in there. Just due to external factors, I'm going for those players just because of what I believe. But if you have enjoyed this video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for watching.